I'm going to start recording now. Hello, I'm Alicia Dubois again. And we're going to talk about how to create your exhibit page. So I'm going to share my screen here and rearrange all my windows again. Okay, so right now I am just at the main Athenaeum website, athenaeum.baronnevemadrona.net. Handy page that I pointed out on the group earlier is this important milestones page. If you haven't noticed this, I'll just plug this page of important milestones, which tells you a sort of suggested path to follow for project milestone completion and dates of trainings and when things became available, like your exhibit page, and soon we will announce training about the booking system and things like that. When the go live date is June 7th, but your completion date should be June 6th, so we can turn everything on. Okay, plug over. So there are two places where you can log in and get to your exhibitor section. There's login here on the main menu, and then there's also this menu or this little login link here too. So either way, click on login, and I have a lot of saved passwords here, but I'm going to use a test account that I have called Texhibitor. And when I get logged in, oh, look at that, interesting. Oh, because this user was signed up last year, it brought me to the 2020 page. So I just need to go over here to the 2021 page. You might not have a link that says 2020 exhibitor home, but if you exhibited last year, you'll have two links here. Okay, here we are. This is the page for 2021 exhibitors. Notice that you have the same options, the same links. So 2021 exhibitor home will bring you back to this page. Exhibitor editing area, we'll go there in just a minute. That'll take you to the WordPress dashboard where you can access your images and files, as well as your exhibit page and your schedule later. You can't see that yet, but we'll go through that in a minute. And then exhibitor releases. This is where you'll upload your signed photography release of use form and creative work grant of use form. These are most likely, if you're using your own photos, then this photography release is definitely required. The creative work grant of use form is always required so that we are allowed to display your exhibit on the website. If you don't have any photography that was taken by you, if you're citing all your photos, if you're getting them through museums or something like that, you may not need this, but most people do. So we have a release coordinator this year on the team, and she will be able to answer any questions, or the tech team will be able to answer questions about this if you're not sure. Exhibitor agreement is a copy of the agreement that you agreed to when you signed up to participate in the event, in case you want to review that. And oh, look, now this menu has changed right here under the main header image. It has exhibitor home, exhibitor directory, and logout. So I'll go back to exhibitor home so I can get my menu back here. Exhibitor feedback is just a form that lets you as exhibitors give us feedback or ask us questions directly to the tech team. if you don't flag us down in the Facebook group, it's another way to get in touch with us. My profile is where you will update your profile photo and put in things like your communication preferences, links to Facebook, OP, your own blog or portfolio website. This information can all get changed here where the gear is in the top right. And you just choose edit profile and you can change any of those things. Oh, apparently when you make comments, you can also see them here listed. I forgot about that. To change this though, you have to use this little gear symbol. And then to change your photo, you just click on it and do change photo. Is my text big enough for people to read on their screens? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay. Because I can make it bigger if you want. But.
Yeah, it seems like several people's thumbs up or saying.
Okay, good. That's one of the worst things in the world is when you're on a Zoom call and someone's sharing their screen and it's like a spreadsheet and you're right up in there because you can't see. Okay, are there any questions about profiles or any of the links that we just went through?
There is a comment that it may not be big enough for someone looking on an iPhone, so maybe making it a little bigger.
Okay. How's that? I just zoomed in a little bit. Okay, no questions about profiles. Then we're going to go to the exhibitor editing area, which is where we will be able to create or modify our exhibits. There's another way to get here also. So if you forget about this link or you don't see it for some reason, you can also go up to this black bar and to where it says Athenaeum and then click on dashboard. Okay. So this is the WordPress dashboard. And you have a few options: exhibit, media, comments, and then this PDF. I didn't have time to hide this before we started. Don't worry about that right now. That's me trying to get it so that you can print your exhibit to a PDF in a simple and pretty way. But I still have some more testing to do. So exhibit is where you're going to put your information. So again, Text Exhibitor was here last year. So they have 2 exhibits. Last year's never got published, but we can preview it. So if you right click on preview here, I'm going to open it in a new tab so that I don't have to go back to this page. This is what it looks like.
Try to come back again next month.
The more time that we have to set up an online account, or not online event, the better it is.
I can't tell if that's a question for me.
I like that we commit to a virtual event.
Okay. I think that was an accidental unmuting.
Yes, I muted him. You want everything muted?
If you think they're going to talk out of turn.
Okay, I'll keep an eye.
I don't know. Okay, so this is the example that I took everybody through last year. And we're going to do a new one, but we'll do something similar this year. So if there is something that, I'm kind of just flipping through this quickly, but if there's something that you want to ask about that we didn't that I didn't cover here or in the other one, then we can come back to this. This section is going to be at the bottom of every exhibit page, and people who are, I think you have to be do you have to be registered to leave comments? Do you remember, Kyrie? I think everyone can leave comments, even if
I
we're
think
not.
anyone can leave comments, but you don't get the scheduled an appointment unless you're a participant, registered
Right.
participant.
A
But anybody,
registered person.
and comments are being moderated just to make sure we don't get spam or any weird stuff.
Yes. Okay, so now that we've seen this one, we're going to go in and you can click either the title or you can click on the word edit. And it will bring you to your blank standard default exhibit template that everybody gets in the beginning. This window has popped up because I haven't been to this page before, or to a page with the block editor on it. And it says welcome, and each block comes with its own set of controls for changing things. And they'll show and hide automatically when you have a block selected. The block library, you can choose, you can bring it up if you choose the plus icon, click on the plus icon. And there's a more detailed guide here if you want to learn more about it, or you can just X out of that and get started. So this is this left side where it says text exhibitor and we have these blocks here is a preview of what the page is going to look like. It's not exact, but it does try to give you a pretty good sense of what it's going to look like. The options over here, you have two items here and they'll flip back and forth. Like you can flip back and forth between them. So exhibit applies to the whole page. Anything that you change in exhibit applies to the whole page. Block is just the one block that you're working with. So and each item here is a block. So this is a heading, and you can see that it's a heading because this little symbol means that it's a heading. And if you click on it, there are some things that you can change it to instead. I don't want to change it right now. But now that I've selected this block, you can see I have options over here on the right. I can change how big the font is. So there, I just made it huge. I'm going to go back to normal. I can change what color the text is, what color the background is of that text, of that element. Some of these customizations, we might, what did I do? There we go. We might veto or ask you if that's really what you want. Would you really like to have a flamingo header, we'll say? Just because when you choose preview here to see what it's going to look like in the site, this might not be the effect you're going for. So we might talk to you about that, but here are the options anyway. This access controls, don't worry about that. That's for if we want to prevent certain people from seeing certain content. I don't think there's anything. Oh, HTML anchors. I'm going to add that to my list. Okay, we'll get to that later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my title. So I just have to click on it or highlight it here and hit backspace. Okay, so the title is going to be Camp Kitchen. I don't have to use these blocks that have been put here by default. I put these in here as sample content for people in case a blank page is intimidating. That's my personal feeling. Or in case people wanted to see what some of the available blocks are. So I don't actually need this for my content right now. So I'm going to delete it. To delete a block, you go over here to this triple dot menu and all the way down here, remove block. And now it's gone. And the gallery moves up. That's great. But I don't want a gallery first. I want a paragraph first. So I can start from where I was here at the title, and I could just hit enter, and it will default to giving me a new paragraph. If I want to choose a different type of block, I can click on the plus and it will give me a whole bunch of choices. I'm going to browse all. Don't look at those Bookly blocks because they are for appointments and you won't need that. So paragraph, heading, a list, like a bulleted list. And if you notice, when I put the mouse over the item in the list here, I get a, oh my gosh, I almost tried to point with my finger. That's funny. I get a little pop-up that gives me a preview of what the content will look like. Code is if you want to use, have sort of a monospaced font like you would for code. Quote, pre-formatted where it doesn't change your spacing or tabs. A pull quote, which is meant to be a sort of section interrupter. A table, you could put in a table. A verse, which is a different kind of quote spacing. There's a media section, so you can put in a single image, or a gallery, which is a way to put in images side by side or in a nice grouping. You can put in an audio file that will be playable, like there'll be a little play button, pause button in the page. A cover photo is a giant photo, usually found at the top of a home page, that kind of thing. File is something that you want people to be able to download from your page. For example, if you're using a project that you entered in an arts and sciences competition where documentation was required, you could link to the PDF of your documentation if you wanted to. You could let people download it from here. Media and text, I'm going to show you what this looks like in a little bit because it can do some surprising things to your layout. And someone asked me a question about it. And then video, so this would be not a YouTube video. This would be if we were uploading video to the media library, which we are not. If you want to do a YouTube video, there's a different way to do that. You can also add things like buttons. I don't know why you would want to in this context. Columns, so you can make a section have multiple columns. You can combine blocks into a group. The separator is this little thing right here, and it will draw a line across the, oh, I lost my box. It'll draw a line all the way across the page. It only shows partial here.
Alicia, quick question. We have a question about going back to headers.
Yes.
Can you put the title with a background color like you can for headings?
No,
Okay,
you can't do that. It won't let you.
great. And then because we missed the first question, also there was a question about the profiles. The things you put in the profile, will it show up here to populate your profile when your page gets published?
It will show up right here on the side of your page. So it'll have your name and your photo and the branch that you're from, whatever your profile paragraph is. And then whatever links you want to add here, and I'm going to make these look nicer than they do right now, but whatever, if you add your Facebook profile link, it will show this icon. If you don't, it won't show it. So it's just whatever contact methods you want to offer people, or I think, yeah, personal website. If you have a portfolio site you want to add, you can add that. If you don't, you don't have to add it. We do, on the checklist, we do have a few things related to profile, I think, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'll leave that up so we can look at it. Okay, blocks. I was going through blocks. So widgets. You probably won't need any of these. I think I hid some of these before last year. Embeds will be useful though. So if you want to embed a YouTube video, if you want to have a little video player in your page where it's playing a video straight off YouTube, this is the thing to use. If you are using something, there's so many of these. SmugMug, I guess you could use. TikTok, I don't know. So many things, lots of choices. If there's something that you aren't sure how to add to your page, if there's something you want to embed, I think last year someone asked about embedding Airtable, an Airtable page, and we figured out how to do that. Although I don't think that person actually ended up using it in the end, we did figure out how to do it. So if there's something that you want to link to from another page, it's very possible we can, and you don't see the option here, it's very possible we can help you anyway. Okay, I want a paragraph. All that to say, I would like a paragraph, please. And since that's the default, all I have to do is put my cursor here. And I'm going to just copy and paste some text from a page I did earlier. And if I were writing this straight in here, I could just hit enter and it would give me a new paragraph. Okay, to spare you watching me type, I'm going to copy and paste the next couple of paragraphs in here. So you can copy from Google Doc. You can copy from another website. If you are copying from your own blog, like I am, you very likely do not want to copy and paste from Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word tends to use some different characters that might produce funny results. You might be fine. It might be okay, but I know that Google Doc transfers really well. So, okay, here I have a link which transferred over from my my personal blog where I'm taking this page from, and it's actually a link to a PDF that is on someone else's website. So these are the plans that I used to create my camp kitchen that I'm doing the exhibit page about. And I want to give them credit and let other people know where I found this great stuff. So I created a link, and to do that, so I'm just going to copy this link and I'm going to remove this link. So if I click anywhere on the link, it will highlight the whole thing. I don't have to select it with my mouse. And I can just click unlink and it'll remove the link there. And now whatever text I want to highlight, I just do that with my mouse and click link. Paste the link in there. And I highly recommend that you choose this little button slider open in a new tab, because then people won't leave your exhibit to see whatever you're directing their attention to. They'll be able to just go back to the previous tab and keep skimming through your, reading through your exhibit. So I've made a link and made sure that it opens in a new window. And now I have an image to add. And hopefully we will not run into the problem where my images are too big, because I didn't check that. Do we have any questions before I go further? Okay.
I have a question about, what about Mac Pages word processor? How do they cut and paste?
I don't know. I have not tried that.
Okay. And then there was a helpful comment from Awena that if your word is in doc, or your document is in Word, you can copy and paste it into Notepad, and then copy it from Notepad into WordPress.
That is very true. That's a good tip.
You will lose your formatting, but it's a lot better. You'll get a lot less extra baggage.
Yeah, weird symbols and stuff. And the formatting you can just put back when you get it into the page. So, okay. I put a gallery here in the template because if you remember, we had a bunch of choices around images. So let's go back to browsing and look at the image choices. Media. If you just put in a single image, here, I'm going to put in a single image. We'll compare. I'm going to choose, oh, I did not remember where I was. Yeah, kitchen, photos. This is the one I want. Oh, it totally let me upload that big image. Okay. So I just uploaded a single image and it's going to give me some options over here under the block tab of this side menu. I can choose if I want it to be square or if I want the corners rounded. This looks weird on this photo. And I'm going to close that up. Alternative text is great to put in here. It is to help visually impaired web users. It describes the image to them so that their screen reader describes what the picture is for. If the image is purely decorative, so that if it's not really part of the narrative, it's just for decoration, then you don't need to describe it because it will sound very disruptive when the screen reader's reading the text out. But in this case, it is contextual. My image is contextual, so I'll put in some alternative text here. This is the mortise, one of the mortises I made by hand with a chisel. Okay. Image size is large. If I change this to medium, say, it will reduce the size of the image in the space, which might be good. But I can also just have it be large and then change the dimensions here, and that will preserve the quality of the image, but it will reduce the image size here.
We have a question about the alt text.
Sure.
If I'm explaining what my photos are about in the text, do they still need to use alt text?
You mean if you use a caption?
A caption or describe just some sort of description?
If you're
in the text.
describing them in the text, you don't necessarily need to, but the benefit of doing that is because when you look at the text and the image on the page and you're using your eyes to see that, the image and text might appear together. And so you could say, see the photo on the right for details about what I'm doing here. A screen reader may not read those things in the same order as your eyes will see them. So if the alt text stays with the image, it will always describe the image.
Okay.
Does that make sense? The
Another question.
Oh, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so there was a question about when we got to uploading. What is the best way to add your uploaded images to the correct media library?
Okay, we are going to go through that. I showed you one way to do it, which is to upload your images from the exhibit page. And when we go to explore the media library, we'll see where that image ended up. And we'll see whether that's like when I put in the same image in a gallery down here, we'll do it through the media library, and we'll see where our image ended up.
And you're going to show us how to center and justify? Okay, thanks.
I am. In fact, I was going to get to that next. So nice segue. Let's center this right now. So let's see. If I click on this, you can see this is the size of the block with this blue border around it. And I have some options up here. This again tells me what kind of block it is. This lets me drag it around the page. And it tells me where it's going to drop it by putting that heavy blue line. I'm going to put it back where it was. Come on. If I don't want it to move that far, I can use these up and down arrows to move it up or down within the other blocks. This is where you change the alignment. So right now, everything defaults to aligning to the left, so lining up with the left side of your page. If you want to put it in the middle, then you align center. And if you want it on the right, you can choose align right. And what happens when you choose either align right or align left, when you explicitly choose align left, the other blocks that are below it will be pulled up into the space next to it.
Holy shit.
Amazing, huh? So what if you want that to stop happening? Stop happening. Then you just go under here to change alignment and you just click on the align left again. But for now, I'm going to center this because I want it to be centered. Okay, here I can put a caption. Let's see, did I put a caption on this one? I didn't. But I'll just use my alt text for now. So now that I've made some changes, I'm going to click on Save Draft. Now, the WordPress system does something called autosave, and I can't remember how frequently it does that. but it will automatically save your work for you every few seconds. I want to say it might be 20 seconds. I can't remember the number. It's not that important. It saves things really well. I've had my browser crash in the middle of writing a post, and I'll come back in, and if it didn't get everything, it probably missed like a sentence or a couple of words. It does a really good job of saving.
According to the website, it's every 15 seconds.
15 seconds, thank you. Okay, to get back out to the WordPress dashboard from here, where we can get to our media library, we click on this black square with the WordPress logo in it. Personally, I don't think that's very intuitive, but I am not on the design team. And now you can see here it is, Camp Kitchen. My title has changed. It still shows that I'm the author. It's still a draft. And oh, I haven't chosen any categories. There are no comments. And I haven't checked off any of my requirements for my exhibit, but that's okay. Early days. Okay, media library. So if you just click on media, it'll take you to the library. And we can look and see where oh yeah, look, see it ended up in unassigned. So if I select this, no. Okay, so I can drag this into my folder, which is alphabetically speaking right here. If I click on my name, it's going to show me all my photos. So I can just drag and drop this here. It has been successfully completed. Try not to take other people's images and put them in your folder, but there you are. If I were to try to put something in someone else's folder, maybe I will put something in who won't mind. Let's see, for the purposes of testing. Master Charles, he won't mind. He doesn't have anything in his folder. Haha, I'm gonna take something from mine and I'm gonna put something in there. Where's my folder? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna search for myself. Okay. And now I'm gonna search for Charles. So let's say I want to put this picture of a border mosaic in here. So I'm just gonna drag it and drop it onto Charles. Oh wait, it won't let me. I can't put things in Charles's folder because it's not my folder. I can put things into unassigned. I'm gonna click undo because I don't want to do that actually. It says action reversed and yet my picture didn't come back.
So what if you don't have there was a question, if you don't have a folder?
Then you should tell a member of the tech team because we need to make you one.
Cool. And can you filter or sort the folders?
Yes. So I'm filtering right here. I'm searching by my own name. Oh, my image did come back. I guess the view just didn't refresh. I can also sort within my own or filter within my own folder. I can say, oh, I just want the documents. Where did I put that documentation file? There it is. Or only show me things that I uploaded this year. Or I wonder what my friend Adriana is up to. Oh, I can't tell. I can't see her images because they're not mine. If you want to put your images, if you want to upload them here so that they are in the correct folder, all you need to do is click on your own folder, click on your name in the list. And again, if you don't have a folder with your name on it, contact a member of the tech team and we will make one for you. I did have to make several folders. And if I skipped you, I am very sorry. But then all you need to do is click on add new. And you can see your name, your folder is already selected here. So you can either click to select files, it'll pop up a screen, or you can drag and drop them in. And I'm going to drag and drop a few here so that we can be ready for the next part. And this one. And this one. Oh, too big. One of them is too big. I see. Let's see how big this one is. While I'm waiting for that to upload. Okay. Oh, so close. Oh, maybe this one. No, they're too big. Okay, well, that's all right. Nope, all too big, fine. I have enough photos. So now that I've uploaded all of my images and any documents that I wanted, I can just go back to my exhibit.
Mommy, put me down. I don't want to put you down. You're my boy. Look at the tail. Oh my goodness. Ugh, you're an arm over cat now.
Okay. Kyrie, could you please mute everyone for now? Thank you. Okay, so remember this is a regular image block, and this is a gallery. So with a gallery, you can put multiple images or select multiple images in here and you get some control over what they look like. Instead of clicking the upload button, which put our image into nowhere on uncategorized land, I'm going to click on Media Library and it will show my images. So the ones that I wanted to add here are these two. So I can click on these images and the icon in the corner turns into a checkbox when I've selected it. But if I want to deselect it, if I don't want it to be part of this gallery, I can just click on the minus and it will remove it. But I want both of these. And then you click here, create in the lower right, create a new gallery. I can drag the images so that they're in a different order if I want to. I can add captions here. I can also add captions in the next part. I'll do this one. And I'll leave this one without a caption and you'll see how it looks different. Okay, I think I had some more text. Yes, I did. So now I actually want text between these two things. And I'm going to come back to the gallery in a minute because I actually want it to look different. But sometimes it's tricky to get that little plus icon to come up. So I could get another block in here. If I just choose this block and go to that 3 dots menu, I can choose insert before. And it will make space for me and default to a paragraph, which is what I wanted. Okay, so you can see where my caption shows up on top of the image. And that's one of the differences between the gallery and the single image, is that the caption on the single image shows up below. So if you're going to use a gallery at all, you might want to consider using a gallery for everything, even when you only have one image. Because then it will, so if I change this to a gallery, I have to, oh, this is the other difference. So with the gallery, it will show, even if it's just one image, if you choose image size, it's the quality of the image, not the dimensions of the image. And you can also use the link to choose media file so that when you click on it, it will open as a larger version. If you just have this as a single image, you don't have that option. So the image size is the image quality, and then the dimensions, you get to change the dimensions. And I think I had it down at 50%. So slightly different. With the gallery that I put in here, and I can choose to add more using this section down here. I can rearrange these, the order of these. I can remove it. The silly little Pinterest pin this plugin is getting in my way. I can remove it, or I can change the, replace image. I guess to change the caption, you just click on it. Okay. Again, I can decide if I want to center this on the page, which I think sounds good. And I can make sure that I link to the media file. I also get a choice of whether I want to put how many columns I want to put it into. So it defaulted to 2 columns because it thought that looked good, but maybe I just want 1. I can use the slider, or I can, come on. There we go. Well, then it just stacks them on top of each other. And I have to make sure that I choose media file for each of them. It won't just, like, it'll allow me to make this one not be a pop-up. And, oh, no, it won't. I guess I thought it did that. So if you choose it for one, it gets chosen for both. Okay. Oh, that makes sense for the whole block.
Okay, we had a couple of questions.
Sure.
Can you rename the images to the conventions after uploading, or do they have to be named before?
You can do it either way. You can change the names once they're in the media gallery, media library.
Is that from the 3 dots?
Not here. You can, you would have to go to the media library. So I'll just save draft just in case. And we go to the library. Let's see if my folder is selected by default. No. But I could probably choose myself here or search here. Oh, this is going to be searching the name, not the person. Oh, if I search over here, it should filter to my name. There we go.
Well, so that brings up, someone asked, as they see dynamic folders and that list, is that the correct spot? Because I also see another list of names outside of that. So there's, is that correct? Both the dynamic list and then the one below it?
I don't know. Oh, I see. Dynamic folders is a way to have your images separated differently. So we made folders for each exhibitor, but if we had made them by topic, for example, by category, this is a woodworking project, so maybe all of the folders were named for categories. Maybe there would be a woodworking folder. If I wanted to see who had uploaded them, I could choose all authors and then just choose the author that I wanted. So yes, you can get to it either way.
And then the
Dynamic folders feature is new to this plugin. We didn't have this last year, so that wasn't a question last time.
yeah. And then there's sort of a question about why do we have media folders?
You have media folders so that your tech team doesn't scratch their eyes out from frustration trying to find your images or your release forms and so because when you come in and you log in, you only see your own images or uploads. But if you are a member of the tech team and you come in, you see everyone's. So it can be really hard to find people's images. And this way we also know how many images people have uploaded and if they need to maybe go and prune their media folder. Or last year we had a bunch of issues with the upload process timing out. And so people would think that their image didn't get uploaded. So they would try it again and they would have 3 or 4 copies of the same image in there. And so that helped us organize things and be like, oh, nope, we don't need 4 copies of the same one. Space was also an issue last year too, but we fixed that this year. Okay. Any more questions before we go forward?
Nope. I actually had one. This is Carrie. Is there a way to determine if you have images in your media folder that aren't being used in an article?
There is. Does this give us that option? It doesn't. Yes. So you can choose unattached. So someone asked this question in the group today too, that they wanted me to go over this. When you upload an image into the media library directly, like I just did these 3 images, it will upload them, but they're not attached to a post, in this case, an exhibit. So if you use and this one must be because I moved it, but if I just show mine, there are others here that I uploaded straight from the exhibit page, and they are attached to that exhibit page. And that's just a feature of WordPress, which is designed for multiple authors creating content so that you can see which images were uploaded to go with a particular piece of writing. It is across all the WordPress sites that I have worked on, I don't know, probably close to 100 of them. that feature is not used in any sort of administrative way, really. It applies to things like maybe news-focused sites or a blog site where you have hundreds of posts, things like that, where you might need to manage images at a larger scale. So whether it's attached or unattached doesn't really matter for your exhibit, I guess, is the bottom line. But being able to see which ones are attached, like, or unattached here, this will only tell you that they were uploaded straight to the media library. It's not going to tell you whether it's in use on a page or not, because this image is in use on a page, for example. Yeah. Okay, I'm going back to my exhibit. And I'm going to double check my list of things I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this image example here. Remember how I showed you, I centered this, but then remember how I showed you how you can align left and the blocks below it will be pulled up in order to fill the space next to it. So something that someone else did, I think by accident, and they weren't sure how they did it, was they used the block called media and text. And the comment was, help, I have turned, my image is huge and now I have really big font on the side. So if I just copy this text and put it here, all of a sudden this is really, really large. This is the media and text block, and it's great for, and you can change here if you want the media on the left or the media on the right. You might want the text to be aligned to the top or to the bottom or even to the middle. I might want to put a link in here. I don't really, but you get the idea. This little down arrow means that there are more choices, but it can't show right now what they are. Like there isn't enough room to show them all. So you could, these are all different options that you can choose about the text itself. It won't affect the image. Okay. So in order to get this back to the way it was, you just have to click on the block type and transform it to image. And sometimes you get into a situation where you changed your block type and now, well, it forgets your settings. And now you can't change back. Like you'll notice that I have a lot more options when I try to change a single image to a gallery. Like I get all of these options here. But if I choose, let's see what I get when I choose the gallery. Yeah, I only get the options image, columns, or group. So it'll split it into two images, or it will, come on, put two images, one in each column. Group, I don't know how that would work because it's not, I'm not selecting anything else, but don't be surprised. Like you can convert a paragraph to a heading or a list, but if you transform this to a list, you can't necessarily get it back to everything you'd expect. So, but that's okay because you can just choose Control Z and undo if you want to. if you want to take it back. Okay. We have covered everything that was on my list. Let me see if there are other content types or anything in here. Oh, jump links. That's the other thing. I didn't. Okay. So a good example of a jump link, or what some people call a jump link, is on the exhibit pages. This table of contents will be generated automatically from the headings that you use in your exhibit. So Camp Kitchen is the title, which will be at the top, but citations here is a heading, and this H2 tells us that it's a heading level 2. So the title is heading level 1, and then heading level 2 is the next one down. And there's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So in this, I don't know if it'll show it to us in the preview, but here it shows goal is the first heading, and the table of contents, as I said, is generated automatically. So if I want to skip right to this scroll design section, I'm going to click on it and it will bring me right to the scroll design section. And all of these are headings underneath the scroll design and execution. So this ends up, I'm going to use the top link to get back up. This ends up being the outline of your document. It makes it a lot easier for people to navigate your document, to see kind of how you've laid things out and what your exhibit is about. People who did multiple projects within one page last year used this to their advantage because they would just have, their first heading be project 1, and then their second heading that came all the way out here, which would be another H2, would be their second project, and so on. So that's something that you might hear from the tech team during the editing phase. So this citation section is in case I have some links, like a bibliography that I want to put down at the bottom. And I did that here on my project from last year. I didn't link these into the text above like you would do a Word document or a documentation document. You can do that. It ends up being, because you can add a footnote here, like I can add the number 1 and I can select it and I can choose superscript. And there it is. It looks like a footnote, but if I click on it, nothing's going to happen. So the way to do that is to use a jump link. And these table of contents links are what I keep calling jump links. They're called HTML anchors in WordPress here, and they're under the advanced section. So if you want to make people come to this section again, and so you would actually put this here. So let's say my link is Google, but that I want people to come to citation number 1 when they click on this one. So I will put in an anchor and I'll say citation 1. It has to be a word without spaces. So you can use a hyphen for that if you want. and it will create an anchor that brings you back to this block whenever you use this as a link. So let's say that I want to use it here. I want this to link to that first citation. I click on link like I was going to link to an external source. And all I have to do is start typing that. There we go. And this one, you don't want to open in a new tab because it's just going to jump you around the page. So now you can see it appears like a link. It's highlighted like that. I'm going to preview this so we can see the link in action. And your table of contents doesn't show up in the preview, so I couldn't demonstrate this way. So here's the little tiny one, but it's really hard to click on, so this isn't necessarily a good idea. And then it'll jump you all the way. Oh, what happened? Oh, I know what happened. That's weird that it doesn't just do that for you. But you have to put in the hashtag. And see how it says internal to the page. Okay. If I just click on preview, it'll save it before it shows it to me. So I don't see how I did that. I don't actually have to hit save draft before I hit preview. Is there a question?
Yeah, there was just actually a comment. For citations, do you include books and web pages under the same header? And we have, unless you want to separate them up with a subheading, but most people have just been putting them in order of as they appear.
Mm-hmm.
And last year there were several people that instead of putting like a number in citation, they just put like a short summary, like, you know, book title, book title and author, and then had a link to the citation, which it would have the full appropriate citation with, you know, location, publisher, etc.
Yeah. So let's do that instead, because that works better. I don't have to take my link away. I don't have to delete the link. I just took away the subscript or the superscript. And I can turn this into come on. Yeah. And then this will jump me down to here, all the way down here. Okay. We have up to 40 minutes left. What else can I show you? Or what other questions do you have?
There's a question here. How do we sign release forms if we don't have access to a printer?
Good question. How did we do that last year? I'm pretty sure you can use a drawing program. Like edit the photo, you take like open it on your phone and take a screenshot and go into your photos and edit the photo and write on it. And then send it to us, upload it to us. Pretty sure that's how, at least somebody did that last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have anything like a DocuSign right now.
No, although if you are doing it from your computer, you can use Adobe Reader, and I believe you can sign documents, at least with the pen, up to a certain number for free. So like there's a little pen icon.
So concerning citing auction houses,
Mm-hmm.
I believe Well, it depends if you're doing it from a catalog or from a website. That's usually how, is that, Morgana, do you want to unmute for a second? Here, I'll unmute you. You can tell us what you. Oh, if it's from a website, then in the past, what we've done is you cite it as if same as a website. The website title, the date that you got it, the URL, and the item number.
Okay, I probably will need to have that written down.
Okay, yeah, I can actually, I need to
Thank you.
update the citation article anyway, and I will include that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, there are articles. So I'm going to use this page to go out here. In the reference library, there are a lot of things. So pages from the tutorials we've done. Also, here's a post about with some resources, but I know that there's one that is, here we go, release forms versus citations. So this has some good information in it about how to.
Mhm. And then there's another, there should be a new one that's just about release forms that was just published, I think, today. Or if not, it's going to be published.
Releases, let's see. Nope, it hasn't been published yet because this is
She
the
hasn't
only
published.
one.
We have a separate one on the actual mechanics of uploading it, as opposed to trying to tell the difference between which one you should be using.
Yep. Yeah.
Any other questions? I looked at the website for the event, and I mean the Zoom event, and it looks like you covered everything. You responded to the question about why the media library things show up as unattached. I think you got all the questions that were reported.
If you'd
no.
like, if there aren't any more questions, we can stop recording and we can turn on our. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about publishing and the checklist. Okay, I'll talk about that. And then if we still don't have any questions and we still have time left, we can stop recording and turn on our videos. And if you have other questions like help, how do I do this? Or I'm totally lost, or I don't know, anything like that, then we can talk about those off of the recording. But I do want to show you.
Right. And the just reassuring you that yes, it does feel like there's a lot to learn, but once you get started, it does tend to get easier because it just is pretty much the same repetition. You look for a thing, you sort of thing, you move it around. But we definitely can set up one-on-one appointments with any member of the tech team. We did that last year to great success, and we can definitely help you get through it and solve most of the problems that you might be having.
Yep.
So don't worry, you are not on your own, and we still have several weeks to get through this. So.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And the recording will be made available so you can go back through to the part where I was doing the thing you're trying to do and slow it right down and step by step do it with me and everything. So, okay. We've spent a lot of time in this block menu, but when we're getting ready to publish, we're going to look at the things that are in the exhibit menu. So this status and visibility section, you don't need to worry about this right now. Oh, this is a very handy feature. So there are 6 revisions of this. So let's say I've done something and I have no idea what I've done, but 15 seconds ago, WordPress saved it and now everything is ruined. I can click on this 6 revisions. Oh, it's warning me that I have made changes. Oh, all right, well, fine, we'll save it. I don't know what I did. Now there are 7 revisions. Okay. So if I click on this, it will let me use this slider. you know, let's see, I want to go back to 40 minutes ago. I removed the text that is highlighted in red and I added the text that is highlighted in green. And I can choose to go all the way back to this point in time. Or I can choose any point in this timeline. And as you scroll through, aha, here we go. I changed to that citation. And it's showing you the code here, which is a little bit scary, but it's really just to show you exactly what's changed on your page. So you can always get your changes back. And then to get back, you can click on go to editor again. Okay, so that's handy about revisions. Permalink is where it's going to live when it is an exhibit. This will be the final link when it's published. You don't have to change anything in there. Exhibit categories. So this is something that is required on your checklist. Somebody was asking about a checklist before. Here it is. These are the things that have to be done before it can be published. Your excerpt has to have text. You have to have between 1 and 3 exhibit categories. One is better. It can be in multiple. It could be in multiple. So let's see. I would put this under would work for sure. I don't see any others that qualify. Did you see this turn green when I checked the box to choose a category? Look, it turned red. Look, it turned green. I have fulfilled this requirement. Okay, excerpt has text. The excerpt, and somebody asked about this on the group the other day, might have been yesterday. Time is a strange concept these days. It says here, write an excerpt, optional, but we are requiring it. It will not let you publish or submit your exhibit for publishing if you have not put text in here. This is a rule we made up, this checklist. We want everyone to have an excerpt because this is the excerpt right here. So you'll see your featured image, which is also in the list, and we'll get to that in a second. The title, the categories that your exhibit is in, and you'll have your excerpt or a little summary of your exhibits. It's like a teaser to entice people to come read your exhibit. Oops, that's the preview. Okay, so often your first paragraph makes a very good excerpt. So I'm just going to copy that and use it. You don't want this to be too long and you don't want it to be too short. I think this one here is a little short, but it's fine. It tells you what it's going to be about. When we look at the exhibits from last year, you can see people used different length excerpts as well. People use different size images also, and we're gonna fix that this year because we have guidelines this year that tell you how big to make them. Okay, featured image. So featured image is actually in the section below categories and above excerpt. Set featured image. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to take me to the media library. And I did not upload that one. Let's see if it'll let me. Oh, look at this. Okay, so this now says unassigned. And I definitely want to make sure I find myself in here. Otherwise, I will end up in a place where, it's too big. All right, fine. I'm gonna just pick a different random photo. Take a picture of the paint. I can't believe that one was small enough. Fine, it's gonna look a little silly. It's never gonna be published. It's okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna choose this as my featured image and set it. This is not the right size or shape. But when we preview again, it tries to use the same tab if you were already viewing it. Woo, there you go. These were my choices for what color to make the kitchen, red or blue. And if you know me, blue is like my color. So I chose blue. And then when I came back to work on the project again, I don't think it let me upload a picture of the final blue. It did not. But it's very, very blue. Very, very blue. And I love it. Okay, so the featured image is here. You can replace it with, like, I should replace it with one that is the correct size, the correct dimensions. But now you can see that has turned green as well. The signed photography release submitted and signed creative works release submitted. You can check these off yourself, and someone noted that as well. You can check these off yourself saying that you have uploaded them. But if you check these off and then hit submit, which will be workflow, and we don't find your release, we're not going to let it be published. Like, we need those things in order for it to be published. So I could check these off and it will allow me to click workflow, submit for review. But if I don't have these, it should stop me. Yeah, and say you can't, look, I can't submit it for review because I have not completed these 2 steps. And then authors, you should see your name down here. You should not see anyone else's name. Discussion, this little box here just says allow comments or not. Everyone's is set to allow comments by default. Comments are delightful. People got such great comments and feedback and everything last year. There will be a point where your exhibit is complete, but you have not, like, you're done. You don't have anything to do until the event. And so everybody went and looked at everybody else's exhibits and left comments on them. And it was really, it was a really popular feature. So don't turn comments off. Like Kyrie mentioned, they are moderated, and you'll be able to see any comments you receive here under comments.
By moderated, we pretty much just are looking for profanity, which I have no idea why people do that, but usually it's people that stumble across the page, or advertisers and strange stuff like that.
Exactly.
But we
spammy
we
things.
manage, yeah, spammers. We usually manage to approve all comments within, like, usually within an hour of them being.
Yeah, we're watching them. It sends us the admins an email when a new comment comes in. And also it's very exciting to read what other people, we get to read all the comments.
Yes. And some people have even gotten new collaborators out of their comments. So
it's true. That's true.
So Apasia of Heartwood said that she thinks she uploaded a bunch of photos into this signed folder file. That's okay. You can go and clean it up later, or have one of us take a look at it.
Yeah, the reason we asked you to name your photos a certain way is so that if they do end up in the unassigned files folder, we have, what is it, 73 exhibitors. we might not know what your project is, so we can't tell who they belong to. So we asked everyone to name their photos this year to make that process easier. I did not do that in this example. Don't be like me. Okay, if there aren't any more questions that we should record, I will stop the recording and we can have more of a free form chat. Does that sound good? I just saw the chat flash. Was that a question or was that a, yep, that sounds good.